Good morning to Belapshini Ahemin Jani. Salam alaikum, ni hao, sani bonani dumelang lochani. Wherever you are, my name is Tebis Zwani, and this show is probably brought to you by AllNew Media Solutions and Lekwa FM 92.0, the heartbeat of the fall. Today we're going to be talking about your business's readiness to be formalized with the National Credit Regulator. This is specially dedicated to the people that are running cash-loan businesses. Now, if you have a cash-loan business and Mashonisa, of course, you would want the business formalized. You know, you've always wanted to get the business ready. But one of the biggest barriers of businesses in South Africa getting registered with the National Credit Regulator, which is the body that actually, regulates all credit businesses as prescribed by the National Credit Act in South Africa. One of the biggest hurdles that entrepreneurs face is how to actually do it. Like, what is needed? What do I need to move my business from a Mashonisa business or Bokola business, whatever you call it in your area, to being a formal business, and to gain access to other facilities? Like, how do you then gain access to debit people's accounts? Once they've, lended from you, how do you then recover the funds? In cases where people don't pay you, what measures can you take as a business? Now, we all know that for all businesses that are operating illegally in South Africa, to recoup some of the funds that people have borrowed from us sometimes can be problematic. And sometimes you end up taking their fridges, right? And their microwaves. Sometimes you take their bank cards, their IDs, which is essentially illegal. We actually did have a conversation with the National Credit Regulator on our show, which is hosted on Lekwa FM 91.0 every Friday, where we spoke with Jimmy Khulele with regards to, getting your business formalized. And this podcast you can also find on AllNew Media Solutions. Now, today I'm going to be talking about what you need as an entrepreneur to get the process started with registering with the National Credit Regulator to formalize your Mashonisa business, right? Okay, fine. So here are the facts. 1, you can register with the National Credit Regulator in your own personal capacity as an individual, or you can register as a company, right? And in our experience with registering businesses with the NCR, we found that it's easier to actually do the registration via a company. Now, for you to be able to attain this, a couple of things would have to be done. First thing, you would have to get your business registered with the CIPC, right? Which is a standard company registration. You're going to get your company registered with the CIPC. After the registration is done, the company registration number of that particular business is what you're actually going to use as reference when you make payment to the NCR. I'll just talk about that in a second. But this particular business that you have now established would be the one that will be applying for the license from the National Credit Regulator, for the business to be formalized. Okay, so the first thing that you need would be a registered company. In terms of compliance documents for that company, you would need 1, the company registration certificate for that particular business. When you do a company registration through the CIPC, when your registration is done, the CIPC would usually send you a tax confirmation, document, which is a document that confirms that the business has now been registered with the CIPC. And this is for new businesses. If your business is slightly older, you will now have your tax clearance certificate or any form of documentation that comes from SARS that actually identifies your tax number. That will be the second document that is needed, right? So the first document would be the company registration document. The second one will then be the tax confirmation document that comes from SARS, right? Or a tax clearance certificate that would also work. These are the 2 documents that you need for that application that has to go through to the NCR. The third thing, you would need a clear criminal record for you to do this. One of the most frequently questions that people ask us all the time is, can you register your business with the NCR even if you're listed with the credit bureaus? And the answer is that yes. The NCR does not check your credit for you to be a credit provider, right? The one thing that will be checked would be, do you have any previous criminal convictions in the Republic of South Africa? So you would have to get a police clearance certificate that will go with your application over through to the NCR. And then this particular police clearance certificate, you would essentially, 1, obtain it from the SAPS. And unfortunately, sometimes it actually takes a while for you to obtain it from the SAPS. In our experience, we've actually found out that it's actually easier for you to get this document from your nearest postnet. You simply go to postnet, they're going to charge you plus or minus 300 rands, and you'll be able to get your criminal clearance certificate, which will actually be sent sometimes the same day, right? So that's a third document that you need. First one, company registration certificate. Second one, your tax confirmation certificate. Third, your criminal clearance certificate. Fourth thing, you would need the IDs of all the directors, of all the people that are going to be directors of this particular company. You would then have to have the IDs, and these would have to be certified ID copies. This is very important, and all the documentation that you send over through to the NCR has to be clear, has to be visible. And if you are going to be sending your criminal clearance that comes from the postnet, they usually come with a password, okay? You would then have to change the document to make sure that it is not sent with a password, because sometimes registrations do get rejected simply because the guys that are processing the applications cannot gain access to your criminal clearance certificate because it's password protected. So we'd have to get that. Fine. So another thing which is very important would be, because you're going to be registering with the NCR, they need to know your company's banking details, right? So if your company is new and you've just registered it, you then have to go to the bank with a company registration certificate and open a company bank account. If your company has been existing for all along, you simply, attach your company bank confirmation letter. But the fifth thing that is needed, which is important, would be that particular company bank confirmation letter, right? You need this letter, which is going to be attached along with all these other documents that I mentioned that are going to be sent through to the NCR for this particular application. And then once you've gotten all these things, you will fill in the application that you can find on our website on allnew.co.za, or you can simply go to the NCR website. You'll be able to download the application. Once you download the application, you fill in the application, and then once you filled it in, you send it through. Within the specified period of about 8 to 12 weeks, the NCR will then give you feedback with regards to the application and as to how far is it, etc., and all of that. But then after all of that, you will then be able to obtain your NCR license. You actually obtain a certificate that you'll actually be able to paste in your house or in your office right by your wall, so that people can see that this business is actually registered with the NCR, and this is very important. Now, it's as simple as that. You will need 1, your company registration certificate, 2, your tax confirmation or your tax clearance certificate, criminal clearance certificate, certified ID copies, and the bank confirmation letter. This is very, very important. And then you fill in the application form, and this is sent through to the NCR. Now, in closing, the benefits of registering your business with the NCR outweigh a business that is not registered with the NCR. One, you will be able, once you've obtained your license, and this is something like I did mention before that we get asked a lot. Like, people want to know, I've been Mashonising for all this time. How do I then debit people's accounts? How do I then legally gain access to their account, so that once they've borrowed money at the end of the month, whatever the credit agreement is, I will then be able to, pull the money off their bank account? Well, that service is available for you. There are a number of companies that offer debit order services. We actually do work with one of those companies that we can refer you to. But the biggest problem is that your business would have to be registered with the National Credit Regulator, because of course not everyone will gain access to people's accounts and just debit them, So once your business is registered with the NCR, we as AllNew Media Solutions can build a website for you. You can get new customers. Your customers will sign up. They'll be loaded onto a new billing system with whoever company that you choose to go with. At the end of the month, you are able to debit client's account. Even if you don't have a website, if customers come to you, you can then have your own debit machine, etc., and all of that. But all of these things are accessible once you've obtained, and this is very important, your NCR certificate, because it is illegal for us to be able to be trading in South Africa with money without the particular license. So it opens so many doors in terms of legal recourse, right? If a customer does not pay you, you now have a legal recourse. Like, you can have something that you can do legally for you to, get your money back from the customers. You can approach the courts, and the courts will take whatever decision that suits, whoever, based on whatever the judgment is. But then you now have a legal recourse for you to obtain the funds from the people that owe you, as opposed to before, we would have to hire me, Tabisis One, with my 6-pack to go and, get the microwave, or sometimes we'd hold the customer's bank card, etc., and all of that, right? So these are the most important things that you need, and these are the documents that you need to get your process started in terms of you getting this business registered with the NCR. And the next coming weeks, going to be touching base on more NCR orientated content on this particular channel. I would like to thank you for the past 10 minutes for staying with us. We appreciate your following this channel at All New Media Solutions, and we hope we add some value to your life. If you would like to actually listen to me on a weekly basis, you can actually I host a business show on Liqua FM. You can actually listen to the show wherever you are. If you're in the Val Triangle, simply tune into Liqua FM 91.0. If you're outside the Val Triangle and you are anywhere else in South Africa or anywhere in the world, simply go to liquafm.co.za and you'll be able to listen to me hosting Business in Motion on Liqua FM 91.0 every Friday from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock. I'll be on your airwaves. With this, I bid you farewell. I wish you nothing but success and prosperity in your business. I bid you farewell. Adios.